Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing incredibly well. Congratulations on the raise. Cover of Forbes. You look amazing. How's life? Top of the world.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I just came off another investor call. That's what was running over. But yeah, it's a nice milestone to be sure. It was a long time coming, but I need to get better at actually appreciating that because in my head it's just always the next thing over, and what do we need to do now? So yeah. Oh,
We
no,
were
I
we were
can't
having
complain.
this conversation, like this very conversation with one of the guests about an hour ago, and it was very much like the founder journey or the journey that a founder goes on. You sort of like plateau in your joy. It's we ride the high highs well, we ride the low lows well, and so we end up just staying in this middle ground, and everything it's just on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. To quote Jay Z.
Yeah, it's something that I really want to actually get better at because I think I realized that the first time when I got accepted for my MBA, I really wanted to do it. I put so much effort into it, and then I got my acceptance letter and felt a grand total of 3 minutes of joy. And I was like, okay, just need to choose my college now and figure out where I'm gonna live and so on. So yeah, that's about it. How about
I
you? How are you?
I'm doing incredibly well. We are, I think it's 6 hours. Yeah, 5 hours and 17 minutes into this show. You are our second to last guest. I've been looking forward to this deeply. I had to call Moises and be like, hey, 12 o'clock last night, what do I ask Emil? He goes, you have to ask him about his car racing, right? And
Yes.
and to and for context, right? Over the next 5 years, I will be learning to become a race car pilot. I bought a car for this very purpose. We have some
Okay.
incredible friends that race Spa in their GT products in Porsche, and so I was like, you know what? I've got the bug. I've got to get it done. Tell me why you race cars.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, then, screw the whole startup thing. Let's talk cars. Yeah, I think I started very, very early on. So I want to consider I started at 7 years of age when my dad came back one day from work and told me, "Hey, I saw guys racing radio controlled cars. Would you like to do that?" And I mean, you don't go to a 7-year-old boy mention something about cars and then expect that they'll say no. So I said definitely yes, but also what the hell are RC cars? And that's how I got started in it. I think racing taught me a great deal, to be honest. It's a very unique space. It's a place where people really respect each other. It teaches you camaraderie, it teaches you discipline, it teaches you just to never give up because motorsports are fucking brutal. Like sometimes you can just do everything right. You can be fast. You can be driving the rest of your life, and then something randomly will break, or you'll get a safety car in the middle of the race when you shouldn't be getting it, and that's that. But it works on an inverted level where sometimes you may just be performing super bad, but if you never give up and you just wait for the opportunity, sometimes it just opens up for you and you have to be there to take it. And that's very transferable to startups. And
I completely agree. I was so pretty much every other year I go to Spa with these families, and they're about
Mhm.
70 years old. They all have GT Porsche products, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've learned is one patience. Like there is a deep patience in how they're all business owners in their own right, entrepreneurs. None of them
Mhm.
do tech. They all do like real estate or other types of businesses. One of them was
Yeah.
actually a race car driver in a very boring, but also owned a boring business.
Mhm.
Patience, like you said, waiting for the gap, and then when you find the gap, go for it, right? And you
Yeah.
are primed all of the time to do that. But I think the other one is like a lack of fear, but also total fear at the same time. Two things can exist at once. When you go up El Rouge at like 120 miles an hour, and you know it's a blind corner because you can't see the car coming on the right, and you are absolutely about to bomb it down the straight, it is scary. And so like it's this dichotomy of like I have to go for it because I am not a race car driver if I don't go flat out. but also I have to be aware that there is someone potentially on my right, and I need to make sure I leave space. And hence the camaraderie aspect that you've mentioned. And I just think it's fascinating because you don't have split seconds, you have microseconds to make that decision.
Yeah, it teaches you to also be very decisive, which I've actually been trying to tone down a little bit because it can get
Really?
into the extremes. But you're absolutely right. I mean, racing with other people, you can kill each other at any point. I mean, my very first race in Formula V, someone died. It wasn't even in the race;
Really?
it was on the testing day. So it really puts everything into perspective. But you still want to fight each other hard, right? So um, a lot of my closest friends come from racing simply because it's an environment where friendships just get accelerated, right? You can get very close to someone very quickly. And I think there's that understanding that you're my friend, I cherish you, I respect you, but when we're on track, it's gloves off, there's no mercy for you,
Gloves
and I
off,
will expect
elbows
nothing
out,
back. Exactly. Yeah.
all the way, right? It's such an incredible sport, and also it's one of those few sports in the world that is single player, but also team in a way, right? Because if I think about it, very much similar to golf, you can play against other people, right? But like, let's
Mhm.
be perfectly honest, stringing together the perfect lap is not them. It's you. You have to fight against the laws of physics to make sure you string a lap together on all of these circuits, whether it's Le Mans, whether it's Spa, whether it's Monza. It's you fighting against the laws of the world and bending the world to quite literally your will, to will yourself and will this car across the line, right? And I think there's something beautiful in that because despite everyone else on the track, despite the team, despite everything, it's you, the car, and physics. And it's very like applicable to startups. You bend the world to your will. There is a combination of variables, and you have to figure out how do I get through this.
I couldn't agree more. I think specifically on the connection with startups, it's definitely impacted my own leadership style. I'd like to think that they have a very unique one. One of them is just having if you've grown up like me, which is around mechanics, you inevitably end up being a guy who has zero tolerance for bullshit. And you end up becoming a very straight shooter, um, which is how mechanics are. The other one is being very protective of your team, right? Yes, at the end, you're performing. I think as a CEO, that's kind of the same sort of environment. You're the one that's out there being watched, but you also need to take the responsibility when things go wrong. So I've always said that if something goes wrong, it has to be my responsibility. And if something goes right, it's a joint effort. And I think that's how I've treated my team in racing, and people appreciate it because you can motivate them way better because they know you protect them out of any criticism. At the same time, you know that you would just be honest with them. Like if something hasn't been done, you sit down with them, you talk and say, "Hey, I did not appreciate what you did. I expected more of you," but that won't be public. It will be in a safe space, and it wouldn't be done to create a blame culture. It would be done to create a culture where you can flourish and grow together. And I think that's what I'm really proud of at Manamind, that we have that value that we have to be the most fun company to work at, but that doesn't mean that we just muck about, right? It means that when there's hard times coming, we sit down and we talk very candidly about it. And it allows us to grow. And growth is what gives you professional fulfillment, in my opinion.
With Manamind, what are we building here? Like, I didn't get a chance to read the Forbes article and in full, but like, I would love to understand like what's the thesis here about how you look at the world and how have we been able to raise capital for this startup?
Yeah, it's it's a fairly exciting vision that we have. We say that we bring sci-fi into the present, right? That's if you will, the hook of it. Um, we're developing the core intelligence that will allow an agent to understand its environment using only audio and video, which are, by the way, the same inputs that we use as humans. and execute any task within it. Now, the way we are applying this originally is by automating quality assurance testing in video games. So rather than having a tester go and do a bunch of actions, we deploy our AIs, they will play the game, they will find the bugs, and they'll generate the bug report and share it with the developers. That's our wedge industry, if you will. From there on, once we've done gaming, because gaming games are the most difficult software in existence, we want to then move to all other software, the entirety of software. So think websites, apps, ERPs, anything you can dream up, the software. We want to
So you
automate the
give
testing there.
you make every piece of software, or actually, should we say anything connected to the internet, multimodal?
In That's a very nice way to put it, but we don't actually build something for them because our AIs will look at it and listen to it and interact with it the same way that a human does. So if you're on a PC, as I am talking to you right now, they
Purely
use
from a
mouse
quality
clicks
assurance point of view?
for the time being. For the first two phases that I described, it will be for quality assurance only. But phase three is what I think is going to make us one of the most exciting startups on the planet, which is we want to take that core intelligence of understanding where you are and how to do stuff. And if we, for a second, flip the thinking from a virtual world, say a game environment, and start thinking from the prism of the real world, then you can basically become the default operating system for robots. And because we have the unique
But
no
because you are
integration,
the OS, you become the OS, then everything gets built on top of you like a freaking developer platform.
yes, you can think of us as Windows for robots. Like what Windows is to computers
Yeah.
will be that for robots. But we're only able to do that because we refuse to start integrating with any other software tools. We're very keen on you AI have to work as a human. So you can only look and you can only listen, and you don't get any additional luxuries just because you're a system. And
Wow.
that's what's going to enable us to be in robotics because robots are going to be they already are very different one to another. Um, so at the moment, that's why everyone's building their own software. But if it could just look and understand, oh, okay, those are the limbs I have access to. I look like a humanoid. So if someone were to tell me, I don't know, wipe the floor or give me a massage or do my taxes, that's my favorite example because I hate doing my taxes. It should be able to go and execute them. And I think that will really be my contribution to humanity. Because at that point, we're talking about we'll all be on UBI, chilling, and everyone will just do whatever they really love. Because I realize I'm in a very privileged position to do, like, there is no other job I would rather have than what I'm doing right now. But not everyone gets to have that privilege. And when we start automating all of the physical labor of humanity, yeah, maybe people will be able to get that in general. And that'd be really cool.
I have like there is so much to unpack here. It's going to take longer than 15 minutes to do this. So like bear with me as I mentally process all of this and ask questions in real time.
Of course.
The Star Trek UBI world that we might enter into, not the Star Wars world and the kind of purely capitalist nature we might move into. There's a huge talk around this currently, right? It's very much in cultural zeitgeist around that. It is a future that we potentially might lean towards as a humanity, as a society, as a people. I guess my question here is like, what do we end up doing? Because we've had like serendipitously, we had Ivy on the show. There is the incredible founders building the future marketplace for people in the age of AI, right? That are AI first. We then just had Leander on, who's building embodied AI in teleoperations, so that you can walk into a suit and then you embodied inside of a robot. You feel like you're building like the next iteration of that, like it's the OS for the robot to understand how to use itself. What do humans end up doing, right? I guess I can understand that we want to be happy and we want to go do the things that we want to do, but what actually is that? Because At that point, money just becomes non-existent. It doesn't really mean anything. If we can buy everything and everything's done to us and everything's done for us, whether that's the cooking, the cleaning, the help, the driving,
Mhm.
the food is processed. Like, where does the economy doesn't cease or ceases to exist in how we currently think about it? So, what do we end up doing as humans? But then, how is also the world able to function?
Mhm. I think those I can probably answer half of the questions that you're asking because how the world's going to function, that's really something that governments should be figuring out, and I don't think at the moment that there are any who are in a position to do so. But we know we need it can't be a decision that's put on five CEOs or something like that. It has to be a societal decision that we make together because that's the whole point of living in a bloody democracy. Um, I think what we will end up doing though is we'll end up doing those things that we really, really love and that they bring us joy. And that would be a different thing for me than it is okay, for the two of us, it may actually genuinely end up being the same thing because we're both into motorsports. But it would differ from a person to person. And I think that's the joy of being human is that different things will excite us. Maybe if you took Manamind away from me and you were to tell me, here's a bag of money, you can't work, just do whatever you want. Yeah, maybe I'll just be sat in front of the PC playing games all day. Maybe I'll just be racing all day. Maybe I'll start picking up a bunch of other hobbies. Like the thing that Moises didn't tell you, for example, is I do a lot of acting. And I think the creative industries, for example, are a brilliant thing that we can continue doing because it is something special about seeing an actor play a movie, even though we have AI actors now. I personally just don't feel that emotional bond that I do to another human. And I don't feel the craftsmanship that I do when I see someone who's really masterful at their craft doing something. And that can be acting, it can be singing, it can be painting, you name it. Could be gardening. A lot of people love gardening, for example. Not my cup of tea, but that's where what I see us doing. And I see us doing a lot of diverse things because we'll have the time to afford to do that. And doing various tasks improves your mental capacity, it reduces your risk of dementia, and it makes you learn a lot faster. So that's what I would envisage if you were to ask me right now.
Do you not feel that you are also building towards the future of that TV program where there are robots in a world that we go and we play in? And because what you're building will enable them to see the world and access the world and interact with the world, they're going to become toys for us versus actually used in the capacity that me and you are currently talking about it today, where it's like extending human capability, extending human agency.
I think we'll definitely use them as toys as well.
Right.
I mean, I know how immature I am, and I know I would definitely use them for some really nonsensical sort of stuff. But at the same time, y- really, there are two buckets of what you'd want to use them for. One is to improve your own productivity and generate value for yourself, and the other one is just to entertain yourself, which could be, I don't know, spar me in boxing or whatever. Actually, you probably don't want to be sparring with a robot.
Not
That'll
profit
hurt.
boxing.
Yeah. But it could be, I don't know, get the other joystick and let's play some PlayStation games together and hang out. I definitely see myself doing it. But also, if I have a robot doing stuff for me, I definitely don't ever want to be making my own bed in the morning. That is never going to happen. So I think it'll be a mixture. It'll be like, I don't know, having a partner that really loves you and does absolutely everything for you without expecting anything in return. So that's probably how we'll end up utilizing them.
I think that Manamind is probably going to incite the first human robot relationship. I'm going to make a poly market for that. Put some bet in right now, just because it feels like the natural occurrence of what you're building. Someone is going to end up developing a relationship with a humanoid that's running the Manamind OS.
I feel like, I mean, there's already for a couple of years, there's been news about people falling in love with ChatGPT, right? So I reckon as long as you can just plug that into a robot that looks good, yeah, I can see it happening. It would be weird though. I can't imagine myself dating a robot,
Nor
although
can I.
maybe it would be my most successful relationship. Who knows?
Oh, genuinely, but my most successful relationship was typically with my cars because I talk to them consistently. I look after them. You oil them, you fuel them. They're your babies. I've got to ask the question though: what the hell do your investors ask you when you pitch them this, or the individuals that have invested in the company? What is
Mhm.
the most interesting question that one of them asked that you were like, "Oh, I want you on my board"?
Um, the most interesting question we've gotten. It often ends up being not about the market, not about the competition, not about, not even about the technology, to be honest. I like them when they're very personal, and that's how I've valued investor the most. If you're really trying to go deep and understand who I am beneath the business case, that's a very good green flag for me, to use a bit of a racing metaphor. Um, I believe in the vision that people who are ambitious will find a way no matter what ends up happening. And I'd like to think of myself as fairly ambitious. And I think that's something that unifies our investors. They all believe in the vision. They understand how we're going to get there. I mean, arguably, we've also given them a very clear 12-year plan as to where we want to get to. But they can envisage, they have the creativity, if you will, to envisage the world that I described to you. And I think you do need some creativity to be an investor because oftentimes you're investing in stuff that doesn't exist. So you need to have that capacity to imagine it and then to analyze what effect it will have and whether it can give you a financial return. To really answer your question, I think my favorite question was the one I got from Formula from Ewar. Can I swear, by the way?
Yeah,
Because
you absolutely can, my friend.
okay, yeah. I remember being interviewed for Ewar. That's before I had the idea for Manamind, just joining as a pre-idea fellow. And Paul is a wonderful guy. Obviously, he's had a billion plus exit, super smart, super intelligent, super funny as well, and also a massive car nerd because he's got his
No
own
way.
Formula 4, 3, and 2 teams. And yeah, he's super cool. And I jump on the call. It's like a 15-minute call, or maybe a 10-minute even one. And there was no hello, there's no hi Emil or anything like that, or I'm Paul. There's no introduction to that. So why do you want to deal with burning shit for the rest of your life? I just laughed my ass off, and I was like, okay, you and I are gonna get along just fine. And yeah, that's I don't even know if there was a second question after it. My whole memory of that interaction was that one question. So yeah, that's how my
I might have to
journey in
steal
India
that line
started.
from Paul. That's a great line. Just open up every segment with why do you want to do this like this?
Yeah. I mean, it's a brilliant question because you kind of need to justify why you're happy to constantly be stressed out, be working 16, 18, 20-hour days and so on. And if you can't answer it for yourself, then you probably can't answer it to anyone else asking it to you.
And no one's
So
going to
I think
join
it's
you on the mission either way.
exactly because I think the first thing you need to do as a founder is being able to convince everyone that what you're doing is truly amazing. That's how you're going to motivate your investors, your partners, and your team. So you need to be bloody good at it.
Oh no, this is at hyper true. Look, I'm conscious that you have a very important call after this, so we're going to go straight into the quick fire. You ready?
Yeah. And by the way, I don't have a call afterwards, so
Oh,
feel free, I can run
wonderful,
over a bit. Yeah.
phenomenal. Favorite racing car driver?
Current or all time?
It's all time, buddy.
Mika Hakkinen.
Oh, the flying Finn. Why?
Um, honestly, I grew up watching him race. It's not because of, I mean, also. Finns in general, they're so cold-blooded when they race. Like I wish I
Hmm.
could replicate that. And I think it's innately cool to be able to keep that level of cold logic whilst you're racing and to never get flustered by anything. And also just his driving style, so aggressive at times and yet so gentle at other times. These varieties, I think, are the makings of a really, really good driver. So yeah, Mick, I'm going with Mika.
It was he is a weird dichotomy, isn't he? Just as a race car driver, it's like he would get out the car and you would watch the interviews and he's so calm and so clear and direct, and then he's in the car and it's elbows out and absolute chaos.
Yeah,
I grew up on Schumacher, so for me it's always that, and it's like the Schumacher Lewis debate. Do you have a favorite track?
Silverstone. I think it's just I
Interesting.
love Silverstone. Yeah, I don't know. There's something magical. I mean, there is next to me here. Maybe I can show you. There's a massive poster of Silverstone
Yep,
right there
I
as
love
well.
it.
It's yeah. It's just there's something magical about racing a single seater at Silverstone. But admittedly, I've never raced Spa, so I know that that would potentially be up there as well.
It's with Spa. What enamors you is the elevation, because
Yeah,
you can't put into context on the screen when you're watching any single seater racing or just any racing at all the the verticalness of El Rouge.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it doesn't make sense in your head, but only when you walk the track or come close to the track do you realize this is basically 90 degrees.
It's I felt the same. So yeah, first of all, Radio Nord Rouge is probably the one section out of all tracks on the planet that I really, really want to do. But I felt the same way about Suzuka. I went to Suzuka last year,
Oh my god, how was
and
that?
it was great. I mean, it was an amazing experience. The whole trip in Japan I did was magical. But I was just thinking, when you watch Suzuka on TV, it's like, yeah, it's a cool track. But when you go and see the elevation, it's like, oh wow, it's not a cool track. It's an amazing track. I see why everyone else loves it so much. So there's something special about being able to see the elevation. In some cases, if there is an inclination as well, that can be very difficult to scope out from a TV feed. But yeah, I'm still sticking with Silverstone. I don't know. I'm
I
just set. I love Silverstone.
I've my second favorite is like I used to say Monza because it was such a ridiculously fast track, but then I realized that it would probably be Imola, but before they
Hmm.
put in the chicane was centre past.
Ah, Old Imola. Yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
because that's a rapid circuit. Do we have a favorite car? Is there a favorite motor or era that Emil loves?
Um, are we talking all time or are we talking classics versus new ones?
No, all time. Like there's all everyone's got a top three.
Yeah, it does, but my top three varies between classics and old time. And
Go for
also,
it. Give me top
are we
three
talking
all
about
time.
race cars or
No,
just
because
cars
you
you can buy
just
commercially?
cars you can buy commercially.
Right at the top would be the Aston Martin DB10. It's a
Interesting.
very unique car. There's only four of them left. And I got to touch one of them. And I have an amazing story about how that happened, which takes about half an hour. So I'm not going to tell it to you now.
We're
But
gonna get
just
dinner, and that's gonna we're telling that story.
exactly, yeah. It was just, I'm a huge James Bond fan as well. So being able to go and see the car, it was right after Spectre had come out as well. And it was just, I thought, "Do you know what? It's not a car, it's a work of art." So I put the DB10 there. For the other two, I would I'd take a Lamborghini Miura. I think
Ooh,
it's really
rogue
what started
choice.
off hypercars, if you will.
Hmm.
And it's got to be between an E-Type or a Stingray. Do you know, just to mix it up, I'm going to say specifically a 1969 Corvette C3 Stingray
Yep.
in Le Mans blue
In
with
the
the
Mar
big,
Blue.
absolutely, not a red one. I'm a blue guy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
How
Yes. Yes.
very interesting. I was not expecting that at all. I was gonna go like silver or black on red at least.
No, I just think it looks amazing in that color. And, it's not even that much of an expensive car, but I had a toy of it as I was a kid, and it just has a very special place in my heart.
Oh, I love that, my friend. Look, last question before we let you go. Who's on
Mhm.
the Mount Rushmore for you of founders? It's a question I love to ask all guests on the show. It's actually quite insightful because I think subconsciously people begin to not make themselves or mold themselves after the greats in their life, but you take
Mhm.
characteristics from these individuals and try to apply them in your own work. So for you, who are they? Mount Rushmore, greatest of all time, founders.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that I've nicked some ideas from here and there. Ilkka Paananen, CEO and founder of Supercell. What I like about him is he famously said that he wants to be the weakest CEO in existence, and he has a very, very soft leadership style. I think he sees himself as he empowers his team, and that's, I think this is true leadership. So definitely him. I would put Gabe Newell as well, founder of Steam, there. That's where we nicked the whole idea of being the most fun company to work at. We just kind of took Steam's culture and figured what would that look if he was on steroids times a million, and that's how that came about. And other than those two, I don't think that there are others of which I can freely say, oh, they're just an amazing founder that I can't think of anything negative to say about, because all of us have our, and I'm sure these two guys do as well. But I probably just have rose tinted glasses about the two of them and view them as that sort of leader. So yeah, I try to. I mean, also by the way, I will say all my dear and close friends from the eWorld community as well. I think it's absolutely amazing the fact that we help each other so much, we support each other so much is amazing. So I'm really inspired, perhaps even more than anyone else from my other friends. Like you mentioned Moses, for example, that guy is inspirational as fuck. So all these people who have been there for me when I needed it, I feel like my own performance. I'm kind of paying back that to them as well because they've been there when I really really needed help.
eWar is honestly one of the most incredible communities I've ever come across in my life. I am not a fellow. I have just had the privilege of being able to speak to some of those incredible founders and also who's on the selection team and some of the organizational aspects of it, admin teams, organizers of it, operators within the community. There is something different about the Ewell Fellows. And the
Oh
only thing I
yes.
can put my finger on is that they have aura compared to everyone else. That's the only thing I can describe. Moses has aura. Nicholas has aura. I've had the pleasure of speaking to Elias as well, who also has
Mhm.
aura. Emil, as a race car driver, you have aura just built in, and as a founder, you also have it, right? And that sort of like bleeds through a screen. And it's honestly like without like I'm giving flowers with flowers at you, and I'm absolutely glazing right now. It's incredible just to sit here and go, oh my god, the vision is incredible, but you make me so uncomfortable about my future, and it's the best dichotomy that I can have within myself right now. So I appreciate the time, my friend.
No, it's been a pleasure, and uncomfort helps us grow. So I'd say always seek it out where you can. And thanks for the kind words, and for putting me in the same buckets with people like Moses and Nico, and Elias. They're all wonderful people. And I will give you a parting anecdote, if you will. When I was going through a very, very difficult part of my life a couple of months ago, I had people from Ewar who literally got on a plane and came here to spend time with me just because they were worried. And I think having that sort of friendship is something that not everyone gets to have. So I am grateful for it every single minute of every single day.
I don't get to spend time with so much right now with those friends of mine that would do the same. But there has been periods of time in my life where I have friends like that who are willing to get on a plane or willing to drive across the world to come to me, and it's incredible that we get to be around those. And just
Yeah.
as a last comment before I let you go and keep building this
Mhm.
generational company, my favorite car, Porsche 993 Turbo S convertible,
Oof. What color are you going for?
black on red, of course, like the color of my heart.
Uh, I think this is I mean, Porsches are just cool, right? And the braking is unrivaled.
I completely
Um,
agree. It's the only car you could
so
take to the track. rag it around any track on the face of the planet, and then drive it home afterwards.
True. Yeah, I agree. Although I'm hearing news that there will be road legal Valkyries. So I think they may have a bit of a competition in that regard in the future.
Well, I guess with me and you, we're just going to have to race them and find out.
Yeah, why not? Just need to get a Valkyrie and I'm ready to go.
I know a guy. My friend, I will call you and I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for the
I
time.
look forward to it. Cheers, mate. Take
Ciao,
care.
Emil.